That's taping. All right, so here we are again. We are very excited about coming back for our Taco Bout-It Tuesday. Today I have a special guest, Robert Von Dohlen.
Hey guys, Robert Von Dohlen.
And Robert is a family law attorney. He is very well known for his no drama divorce motto, which I do want to talk to you about a little bit more. And we are here at Tacos Tierra Caliente at 2003 West Alabama, at the corner of West Alabama and Hazard. And I tell you, the parking was very short on supply. There was a line, so you know it's going to be good. We only got a couple of tacos today, so we may go back for a little bit more in a little while, but we'll see. But anyway, so Robert, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi. Houston divorce attorney Robert Von Dohlen. I'm a native son. Grew up here in Houston. I actually went to junior high not very far from here, Lanier Junior High.
Oh, yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Did you go to high school here as well?
I went to Straight Jesuit, and I went there for a year, and then I went to HSPVA.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow, what was your talent?
My talent was music, guitar.
That's amazing. Do you still play?
A little bit, not very much these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it acoustic, electric?
Mostly acoustic. Yeah, a little bit of electric.
Did you ever have any dreams of like playing in a band?
No, not really. Not really.
What did you enjoy about playing the guitar?
I don't know. Just you know, you're that age, and music was big in the '70s, and just really enjoyed it. To tell you, one thing that was really big inspiration of me was we grew up Catholic, and folk mass was really a big deal then. Our whole family used to go to the folk mass, and they had a couple fantastic guitar players, and those guys, I would just watch those guys jaw drop.
That's amazing. I had no idea. You always learn something new when you sit and talk to somebody, especially over a meal. And feel free to start digging in if you want to. I've got. By the way, the prices were great. $2 a taco was very, very good. I have the fajita. It might be a little easier on this one. The fajita and the pollo.
And I've got 2 of the tacos al pastor. It's one of my favorite things.
Now, I know that Edith is going to make fun of me for just getting 2 tacos, so y'all just forgive me for that. But we may go back for some more. We're just kind of sampling and seeing how it goes. We've never been to this one before, but it does have a lot of stars. And so tell us about, I know you're getting ready to go ahead and eat some taco, and I'll talk for a minute.
Yeah.
So Robert and I met each other at a conference up in St. Louis. I think that was the first time. Or before we were in a Facebook group together, and we kind of met that way. And his office is over in the Heights area, but I think he might have a second location now. Have you opened that one up?
So, I'm opening a satellite sub office up at a buddy up at the Woodlands area, just to expand out and hopefully help some of those clients up there.
Wow, that hot sauce. Woo, it's good. I know you didn't have any. It is so good.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. I'm going to try the verde in a minute.
Yeah. I'm going to get a little shot of that.
Oh, yeah, you got to try it. It's very good. So tell me about this no drama divorce. I don't even know if that's possible. Is it really possible?
Of course it is. If you're dedicated to just get the divorce over as fast as you can, you need an attorney who's thinking that way, who's geared up for that, who's not necessarily trying to shove every case into an adversarial trial position. Not every divorce should avoid trial. There's certainly some marriages that have got some issues that really need to be hashed out in the courtroom. But in most marriages, the couple knows enough about each other, and they understand the assets, they understand what they're going to do with the kids, and if they're really willing to work together, they can solve those kid issues and figure out a drama-free way to resolve that.
Would they both share one attorney?
No.
That's really bad, right?
Yeah, that can be pretty bad. Yeah.
Why? So explain to us why, because a lot of people won't realize that. It's not that you don't want to have a couple get divorced in a friendly manner. It's because you might have a conflict of interest or you do have a conflict of interest between the two parties.
Right. A divorce is still a lawsuit. It's an adversarial lawsuit. one party is going to sue the other party. The husband's going to sue the wife. The wife's going to sue the husband for divorce. So if you're an attorney, you represent a party in a lawsuit, and you represent that party zealously, and you have to represent their interests to the bitter end. The drama-free part of that just means that I'm not going to push that litigation any harder than I absolutely have to get to the same thing that's the most likely outcome on the other side of that lawsuit.
I know that one thing I experienced, and of course it depends on how much a party has as far as assets and money, but there are for sure lawyers that will stir the pot a little bit and want to earn their fees that way and drive up the cost of litigation. And again, at times I know that there's times for a case you have to do those things, but you're saying that sometimes you can try to at least start with the intent to avoid that if at all possible.
Exactly.
Right.
We try to do all of our cases on a flat fee basis so that the client knows exactly what their total cost is going to be.
Now, I can tell you that is extremely rare, and in fact, it's very difficult to do. I know this. So how do you do that? I mean, because you never know what the cost of litigation is really going to be.
Well, there's a trick to it. We insist on meeting our clients early on, up front, before we sign the case up, and digging in deep and finding out what all the issues are from the client's perspective. And that helps us figure out what the flat fee should be and if the case really should be a flat fee.
Okay, I'm going to try the green sauce now. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, good luck on that.
The other one was great.
Yeah. We have had a few cases where I talked to the potential client, and it's obvious that the case really needs to be litigated. There's some deep issues, but
Also, I would think that, at least in my opinion or in my experience, we're not doing family law anymore, but you really have to you have to really talk with the client and make sure that they have reasonable expectations about what should happen and what is going to happen. And even though we can never predict exactly what the outcome of a case is going to be, certainly based on our experience of dealing with similar cases, we can probably tell them what to expect. And I know for me, if they had a unreasonable expectation, I just told them, look, I don't think I'm the lawyer for you. I think there's somebody else for you. And that's true. Not every lawyer is going to be the right person for every client. So tell me about like a few of the key factors in doing a drama-free divorce.
well, a few of the key factors are clients that have a reasonable expectation and a tangible expectation of what's going to happen. If someone comes in the door and their only goal is to use the legal process as a sword and poke the other side, that's not a factor in a drama-free divorce. Probably the biggest factor in a drama-free divorce is a client who understands this is going to be a tough time. I'm not going to enjoy the process, but what I want is that peace of mind on the other side of divorce, and I just want it over as fast as possible. So they've got the mindset and a proper expectation.
Yeah, I think the mindset's critical, and setting that mindset with them and them wanting to follow your advice is very important.
Right. Another factor does involve who their spouse is and who they're married to.
Because sometimes you can't control those things.
You can't.
And I have to always, when I was doing it, I would tell them, hey, don't forget, I didn't marry your spouse. You did.
That's actually that's a great statement. If we find out that they're married to somebody who has done a whole lot of has utilized the legal system improperly or excessively or pushed them really hard, that might be a factor that we're not going to be able to get them on the other side without drama.
That's true, and it also might affect the other side, who they hire to be their attorney. They may want to hire that attorney who all they care about is getting their money. They don't care about making sure that that these people have a peaceful, I don't know if peaceful divorce is the right way, but a no drama divorce. So tell me about some of the special factors that may be important to people who are residents of the country or even people who have no residency at all, is there anything that they need to be worried about filing a divorce, or they can lose their kids? What's going to happen in court?
Sure. All right. So one thing I want to make sure we touch on real quickly here is I really don't know how that's going to work for them with a federal system, or with the, if you're not here legally and you end up in the courthouse, if there's a federal problem. But to my area of expertise, the work I do, the Texas Family Code makes no exceptions for citizenship. If you're not a citizen here, if you're here on a green card, etc., the Family Code does not have a carve out for that kind of person. It addresses all parents equally.
So you're not going to just lose your kids because you're only a resident or you don't have any papers at all.
Right. Now, if there's a custody issue and you are at high risk for getting deported and your spouse is not, that's something we probably need to talk about.
That could be a factor. I think it's more of a concern that maybe one parent is going to try to leave the country with the children. Now, that the court can try to prevent, correct?
Right. Absolutely. In fact, I talked to someone the other day. Now, the spouse I talked to is a resident here and married someone who's here on a business visa, and he's worried that she takes the child and goes back home with the child. And if we get that system filed here, we can get temporary orders in place that would restrict where the child can live. And eventually, we should be able to get orders that restrict that child has to live here in Harris County or contiguous counties and not be moved for the purposes of changing the child's residence.
And temporary orders, just for people who don't know, they're basically rules that are provided by the court that everybody's supposed to live by. And if you have kids, that could be visitation, possession, access. And for assets, it could be who stays in the house, who moves out, who pays the bills. And it just makes sure that nobody is taking advantage of the other party, pending the ultimate divorce date, which can take a long time. So the temporary orders are very important if you do have assets or if you have kids, to protect yourself.
Right. When we try to get temporary orders, what we're after and what the court is going to do is to maintain the status quo. So that's the big question. What were things like in the weeks or months leading up to the divorce, and what do we have to do to maintain that status quo? Courts are loath to flip custody on temporary orders. Courts are loath to allow massive transfers of money in a period of temporary orders because courts just want to have status quo.
And so I think the main thing is, if you are the party who doesn't have as much money or funds, when we're talking about keeping the status quo, that might mean that you get to live in the house and your spouse who has been making the money may have to pay the bills for the house, or at least pay the mortgage payment or things like that. Every case is different, so everything we're talking about today, take with a grain of salt, and you need to make sure you call somebody, whether it's Robert or somebody else, to talk about the case. But don't be afraid to do something when you're in that position where maybe you don't have, quote, as much power as the other person, at least with money. There are things that can be done to help you, and there are programs also available that might be able to help you if you've been in an abusive situation.
You hit on something very important that I want to talk about, and that's that attorney's fees are paid out of the community. Reasonable and necessary attorney's fees for the divorce are paid out of the community, and the community is all the money that the couple has together. It's all community until it's proven otherwise. The law in Texas is that every bit of money between the couple, until someone proves that it's separate property, is community. It belongs to both equally. And so,
but let me just tell you, community property is the property that's accumulated during the marriage. Separate could be like inheritance money, or it could be something else that somebody had before the marriage.
Right. And so our system is built to try to equalize that. So you can't have, let's just say the husband works outside the home and the wife is a stay-at-home mom, and a lot of people presume that because he's the wage earner and he's got control of that checking account that none of that's hers. That's not true. Now sometimes we've got to
It is not true. You hear that? It is not true.
It's not true. And sometimes we've got to go file a motion with the court to get some interim orders to get some of that community money to float from spouse to spouse so that we can get those attorneys' fees paid for.
I know that I like to think about. Okay, so when I was doing divorce work, I would tell my clients, especially the women who in my clientele, maybe they're Hispanic, maybe they were staying at home, maybe they only spoke Spanish, and I would try to explain to them that what we need to provide you is a runway that you can get your plane off the ground. And for some people, that's a lot quicker because maybe they have a college degree, they speak the language and all these things. And for other people, it might be something more time consuming. Maybe they need to go to school to learn English, or maybe they need to get a computer skill or something like that. So the point is not to leave the person where they're just totally out.
Right.
Leave them in a okay position is what the court wants. Right. So Robert, if we need to get a hold of you, what do we do?
Well, give us a call at 713-443-6730. Website, www.vondohlenlaw.com.
All right, and you're in the Heights area, and you're opening something in the Woodlands?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I do have a lightning round. Some questions I want to ask you. So are you ready? All right. So, let's see. Can you say a word in Spanish?
Besides taco?
Taco's good. Yeah, taco's good.
Or a word? Una palabra.
You pronounced the name of the taco truck really well.
Well, thank you.
Tacos Tierra Caliente. You did very well with that.
Thank you. Muchas
is
gracias.
De nada. So what is... I'm sorry, are you a Marvel fan or a DC fan?
I'm not a big comic book fan.
Okay. Boo.
I know, right?
All right. So do you have any hobbies?
Building a business.
Yeah.
Besides being a lawyer, I'm an entrepreneur, and my practice is my business, and I'm really dedicated to it. Other than that, I really like getting out and hiking. I'm a huge get outside and hike Texas fan.
Oh, that's awesome. We were thinking about hiking out at Glacier National Park in the summer.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful. And I know that you also have your partner has 4 legs, right?
Yep.
And tell us about that.
All right, so man's best friend, my buddy is
Charlie, right? Yeah.
Charlie, the golden doodle. And
he is an awesome dog, and he looks like he's just very much fun.
Yeah, she is.
She.
So Charlie and I hit the park just about every day. Sometimes I'm on bike, sometimes on foot. She always does a minimum of 2 miles every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That really is. Well, I've enjoyed having you on the show today. Did you like the tacos?
The tacos are fantastic. Good
I'm
call.
thinking I might have to go back and get some more.
Good call. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think when we get done,
they were really good. The
run
salsa was just fantastic. I really, really liked it. I'm gonna save some for Edith. And if y'all have any questions or anything, just give me a call or give Robert a call if it's about family law. And we're glad you tuned in today. Thanks a lot, guys. All right, bye.